Hey guys, Bruno here again with Warehouse. We are doing the most recent track preview for the Hungarian Grand Prix around the circuit Budapest. This is a really cool track. I've actually been to this track in person before, sadly not to race, but I was in Hungary and we decided to stop by. It's a really cool circuit. It's kind of domed in. There's a water park nearby. It's awesome layout, super technical, super tight. Makes for great racing in my opinion, just to see the cars really pushing the limits through such a tight track. Really excited for this weekend. Looking back at Silverstone, what a race. Obviously the controversy between Max and Hamilton was a little bit weird with the crash because I didn't see it. There was a little bit of, I put the blame a little bit on Hamilton's kind of washed off apex, making contact with Max Verstappen, throwing Max in the wall. It made a big controversy on social media. Obviously, Max is now still leading the championship, but the gap is a lot closer. It's gonna be tough. We'll see how it feeds into now, and I think Max is gonna be really on a charge coming into Budapest and towards the end of the year after that little bit of a contact. The sprint races were something to look out for as well. I think it was pretty cool. It's a risk for the cars though, because you're adding an extra race, so there's always that risk factor. But it was really cool to see a sprint race. It's a new idea Formula One was coming up with, and it was applied in Silverstone. So overall, Silverstone was an interesting race. But now looking forward to Budapest. This track is awesome. Like I said, super tight and technical. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look around a couple laps. So we are on the Formula One 2020 game now, just leaving the pits here. I'm in the Red Bull. I think the Red Bull is extremely quick. I know the Red Bull is extremely quick around Budapest because of its tight nature. The aerodynamic benefits or advantages that the Red Bull has because of Adrian Newey definitely shows here at Budapest. So this track, very cool, like I said, very tight. Lots of late apexes by running these laps. There's a lot of late apexes. There's a bit of elevation too, which is cool to see. We're just doing our out lap here now. The next lap, we're going to go a little bit more into detail to see exactly some of the tricks and little points to look out for. You can see turn 2 going down the hill. Turn 3 is flat out in the modern Formula One car. Not even a question. Through this straight, I don't know if you guys remember, Felipe Massa suffered a big accident. A spring flew from the back of Michael Schumacher's car. I can't remember exactly. And actually hit him in the head. And that's when they developed the carbon fiber strip for the helmet. So this is something interesting that happened here at Budapest, or innovative. That was a rough one. Just hit Massa. He got very lucky to not get too injured, but this was back a ways. You can see getting towards the end of the lap here on our out lap, extremely tight. The next 2 corners, both hairpins, and you kind of want to ride it as much as you can through the first one here. The second and final corner here is a little bit tricky though. I prefer to go out a little bit wider, and we'll go into detail the next lap, and focus on getting a nice run out as we start our lap here, Budapest. Obviously it's very high downforce, so you want to make as much time through the corners and take advantage of the momentum and downforce that's being put into play. So as we look into turn 1 here, very late apex, we want to get the car rotated as much as we can, and then a nice straight shot out. It's a very long, continuous turn, and as you exit, it actually keeps turning. You want to hug the inside far right as much as you can. Going into turn 2 here, this one's very tricky. We've seen some audacious passes. It's really tricky to make it work around the outside because the track actually falls down. So you kind of want to hug the corner as early as you can just to make sure you don't suffer from the track falling away and losing grip pretty much. Turn 3, completely flat out in the Formula One car. Lots of runoff to take advantage of, but you got to be careful you don't use too much of the track because you could get a track warning pretty much, or invalidated lap. This corner right here, turn 4, so sketchy in my opinion. It is a quick downshift and then back on power. You can't even blink through here. It's such a quick corner. Really test the bravery of some of the drivers. Into turn 5, a little bit of an earlier turn in, just try to hug it, and you can let the car kind of unwind. Just got to be careful because the corner keeps turning as you exit out, but lots of runoffs to use. And then into the chicane here, very tricky, but as you can see, there's a flat surface of the curb, and then it kind of bumps up on either part of the chicane. So you don't want to go over too much of the curb because it can definitely upset the car. If I remember correctly, in Formula One, there is the yellow strip or yellow sausage curb, so you don't want to be hitting that too much because it could damage the car. Through the S's, nice and flowing. You want to make sure that you're opening up enough for the following one so it's not too tight, and you can kind of keep the flow going through here. The final part of the S's, though, is extremely difficult and really easy to get a invalidated lap or warning for track limits there because the car washes out so much. And then again, into the final 3 corners here. Super tight, late apex for the first one here. And then as we go into the hairpin, you want to hug the inside corners as much as we can, right up against that concrete, just to help rotate. There's a little bit of a lip, almost if you put the inside tire on that lip, it kind of helps rotate the car. And then pit entrance off to the right, and then into the final corner here you can see, like I said, I like to go a little bit wider on the entry. There's different lines people take through here. I like to go a little bit wider on the entry and then just focus on getting a nice mid to late apex and nice run out of the corner, just to be able to emphasize your exit and straight line speed as much as possible. So we're going to go for a quicker lap here now around Budapest, the Hungarian Grand Prix. So you can see late on the brakes here, late, turn in, late apex, try to get the car opened up, but be careful. You want to bring the car back over to the right, just cut track distance. Come into turn 2, you can see you don't want to be too wide because the track kind of falls off. Just try to bring it down as much as you can. Flat out through turn 3 here. And now just hold your breath a little bit as we go through turn 4. It's extremely quick. Just down to 6th gear, back on power, use all the runoff. On this lap, a little bit off. You want to go a little bit earlier on the turn-in, and then into the chicane. So watch we're not trying to hit too much of the inside curbs. Just want to hit a little bit of the flat part, not too much to upset the car. Through the S's, make sure you open them up. Nice and flowing through here. It's really tricky in the rain. There's been a couple races in the rain around Budapest that have made it for quite intense. Through the S's, it's really difficult to hold on to the car when it's raining. And then into the final sector here, you can see very late apex into the hairpin. Want to hug that concrete as much as we can. And then that line that we were talking about, bring it all the way out to the left, late, turn in, late apex, back on power as early as you can, let the car run out wide. And now this is my personal best time around Budapest. No DRS, just baseline setup, so you guys enjoy. All right, guys, so there is a preview of the Budapest Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed. I love this track personally. Looking into predictions for the weekend, this is a track, obviously I was driving the Red Bull on the game. This is a track that is very beneficial for the Red Bull cars because of that aerodynamic advantage they have from the genius Adrian Newey. Red Bull's always done well here. I think it's not really a question in my mind. I think Max is going to win this one. The track benefits him because of the car. I think he's just on a hunt now, especially after Silverstone, when he needs to make up some of those points that he lost. I think it's going to be Max Verstappen with the win, Sergio Perez P2, and Lewis Hamilton P3. We'll see how it goes. I was surprised that the Ferrari was so quick in Silverstone, so we never know. But this track is a lot more tight than Silverstone is, not as much straightaway or high speed area. I mean, high speed in the corners, yes, through the S's, but it's not as much of a straight line track as Silverstone was in a sense. So I don't know how Ferrari will do. We'll see. They might be these interesting contenders that come out of nowhere. But for me, it's going to be the two Red Bulls on the podium and Lewis rounding out the final step. It's going to be really interesting. I think Max is on that hunt to try to make up the points he lost. Perez is just going to have the car benefit as well. I think Red Bull is just really quick around here. And then Lewis Hamilton bringing out the back of the grid. He's quick around here as well, so we'll see how it goes. It should be a very interesting race. I love Budapest, like I said too many times, my bad. But we'll see how the race weekend goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Awesome track, awesome racing. This season is going to get really intense after Silverstone. Max is heated and Max is wanting some revenge and points back. So see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this preview. I hope it was beneficial for you guys to learning Budapest. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave it in the comments below. And we will see you guys in the next one.